Welcome to the Blinded Truth Podcast, where real stories meet real healing. I'm your host, Destinnee Vance, and today's episode is titled Set Me Free, Unapologetically Me. Y'all already know what happens. My braces get in the way, and it's featuring our author, advocate, and powerhouse, Janae Brown. This conversation is about breaking free from survival mode, silencing shame, reclaiming identity, and finding the courage to become who you truly are without apology. Too many people spend their lives shrinking themselves to make others comfortable, hiding pain behind accomplishments, titles, relationships, trauma, or expectations. But freedom begins the moment you stop asking permission to exist authentically. So I got that right, y'all. Today, we're diving into healing, identity, womanhood, purpose, trauma, self-worth, and what it really means to choose yourself after life has tried to break you. This episode is brought to you by Destiny is by Choice Support Services, because your journey, your voice, and your truth matters. So, everybody don't know this, but Janae is my friend and best friend, because we got to meet each other when I came down. Well, it's kind of weird because we met each other before COVID happened, but we weren't close. You just came down to Roanoke.
Yeah, and we went to Cheddar's together.
Yes.
That was my first time.
That was Jamal's birthday party.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. She came down to the Roanoke, y'all,
Yes,
from the
I came to the
757. So I tried when I was typing up my intro, I was like, send me your credentials because you got a lot, but I could not figure out how to put it in there. This is why I have my podcast engineers helping me, but I'm here solo today. But tell the people who you are. Who is Miss Janae Brown? Tell me your credentials, girl.
My credentials.
Because I be bragging on my friends. I be like, they all got masters. I just got associates. I'm just a little puny one, but I'm the one with the kids, y'all. But go ahead.
Yes, I am that Black woman that does education first and foremost. A little bit about myself. So we want to start off with my degrees. I got my undergrad at ODU, double major, criminal justice and sociology, and my minor was social welfare. And then took about a year or two off, and then I did my master's. It's my first master's, and that is in human service counseling. And then my real passion is counseling, so I was like, okay, we got to go back to school. So now I'm getting my second master's in clinical health mental counseling.
Okay.
And a little bit more credentials. I am a qualified mental health profession trainee, so I do that part-time. And then right now I do work for human services for the city of Hampton.
Okay. Now let's go back. What is social welfare? What is that?
So social welfare is basically human services.
Oh.
So that would be government assistance, CPS, APS, everything of that nature. It's like under one big umbrella. So you have the benefit side, which is SNAP, TANF, Medicaid, foster care, Title IV-E, energy assistance, PIP, which is fairly new in Virginia. So that's helping with like your Dominion Power bill. And then you have then you have CPS and APS. CPS is, Child Protective Services, and then Adult Protective Services. And then with APS, you also have Medicaid. That's another one for benefits. And then you have Medicaid ABD, which is age blind disabled. So it's a lot of different entities, but it's all there to help the community.
I love that all of us have something that's kind of like connected. Like we're doing the mental health field. Farron is into the health and the community, public health. Empress is in education. I don't know what Marina got her master's.
Marina is in art.
So it's all still connected. But I was like, when I first started going back to school, I was like, I don't know why I thought you did something with CPS or something like that, but I didn't really know. But when we started talking, I was like, okay, so we going into the same thing.
Yeah. Most people, when they hear social services, the first thing they think about is CPS.
Yes.
And I think that's why a lot of cities changed it from social services to human services. Because like again, I say it's all under one umbrella. but I'm not on the CPS side or like family service side. I'm on the benefit side.
Yeah. I know when I did my internship, one of the guys, he was like, what you get your degree in? And I told him, he said, oh, you the ops. I said,
They quit to say that.
I'm not the ops. I'm not here. He said, you here to take people's kids away. I said, no, I don't want to take your kids away. I said, I don't even want to work with the kids. I just want to help you. I want to counsel you.
Yeah.
But, I think that's where a lot more people need education on what
it is.
Yeah. And how to get involved. So what drove your purpose and passion into the mental health field?
So my passion has always been to help people, first and foremost. So since I've been in like elementary school, 4th grade, I was a conflict mediator. Yeah. So
see, you the conflict mediator. I probably was the person coming in your class, coming in your conflict mediator as the conflict.
Not the conflict.
I was the conflict.
No, so I wasn't the conflict. I was the conflict mediator. And I always had a passion to work with kids, like even doing rec league, like cheering and things of that nature. When I got like older, like middle school, I really didn't want to like do sports or anything like that anymore, because I even did basketball, but my passion was always education and helping. So I would give back by going out there and helping the younger cheerleaders, and kind of was like a assistant coach. So it's always been in me to help. So my main goal when I was younger, I always wanted to be a judge. Since I was 7, I said I wanted to be a judge. So I was like, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to go to law school. And then I was like, this is just too much schooling.
Yeah.
But I'm still in school. At the age I am now, I'm still in school. So it just, overall, it just started changing. It started changing for me. So my undergrad, I was doing the criminal justice, but then the sociology piece, it went hand in hand. And that's why the minor was in social welfare. So once we started doing that, I started learning more about that side. And then we're taking classes such as psychology, sociology, things of that nature. So now I'm starting to understand emotions more, human emotions, the nature of people, on top of my religion, understanding that we all have, free will. So I just feel like with all of that and everything that was carrying on, it led me more to that. So at first I was like, okay, I changed from wanting to be a judge, and I said I want to work with juveniles. I want to work with the at-risk youth. So I did an internship on implementing a mentorship partnership between Norfolk Public Schools and ODU. And I was like, okay, so I think I really want to work at a juvenile detention center. So once I graduated, I was working at the Plasma Center. And from there, I was just like, how am I get into these fields? So, first it's about networking. So I thought I was going to be a PO, but then that kind of fell through. So working at the Plasma Center, I went to doing title loans. And then from title loans, I started applying for the city of Norfolk. But I just won't get in the jobs. And that would have been human services, social services with the benefits that I'm doing now. So it took me a while to get there. But Hampton, I feel like Hampton gave me my first big girl job, the city of Hampton. First one was working at the university. So when I was a financial aid counselor, I felt like that was counseling too, because you're coming in, you're hearing a lot of stories from backgrounds for people that don't have the funds. So even though we're talking about financial aid, you still hear those stories of how they're struggling, things of that nature. And then from me going to school, I started understanding even the parents even more. So I felt like the counseling piece was always there. Then I'm like, okay, what if I do mental health counseling or advising on the college level? So that's when I really knew counseling was for me. And I always talked about it. And I feel like people always gravitate to me and tell me their life stories, even when I don't ask for it. So it really was in me. I felt like, how some people be like, it's not on me, it's in me. I really feel like that's my calling. It's in me.
Yeah. I feel like you more like, your emperors are kind of like the ones that's kind of like, okay, we're gonna talk about this. Emperors are gonna be like, well, I don't know. You're gonna be like, now I'm diagnosing you, and I'm gonna pick apart the situation, and this is how we're gonna come to the solution. And I think that's why we gravitated, because I'm like, Well, first you need to deal with this, and then we can deal with that. But I think that's what also makes a good counselor, because I seen work with going to classes with individuals just entering into the same field we in. I look at them sometimes, I be like, and you want to do what?
Yeah, because they don't even have the patience to deal with
No.
people.
Or the
Or
understanding.
the understanding, or even how to talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a class with one girl, and we, of course, we talk about everything. So one of our topics was addiction. And the way she just came off, my professor, who knew me for several semesters, because I've had several classes with him, he just kept looking at me like, sound like Destiny, don't. And I was very calm, cool, collected. And then I finally responded. I was like, are you wanting to enter into this field? And she was like, yes, it's my passion. I was like, I think that when you decide to do your internship, you do need to do an internship at a place with addiction, because it would give you a better perspective. Because what we don't know, I always say this, what we don't know, we always judge, and we always say the wrong things because we don't know, because we don't understand it.
Right.
And I think that's where you have kids that fall through the cracks, because you just got a clipboard and you checking off the boxes because it's a check, instead of you kind of looking at it and dissecting like, well, why are they acting this way? Okay, let's look at the home. Like, okay, what's mom like? What's dad like?
So it's getting the whole story, the whole picture of them. And it's also really, I feel like with counseling, if you have that passion, you really have to be a listener. Active listening is very important to understand them, because in counseling, really, they're supposed to do more talking than we do, So if you don't have that piece, how can you understand if you're not using your listening ears?
Yeah. I started doing it. It's amazing how I'm starting to do that more, because like sometimes I don't have the words to say. And I'm learning like that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. No, seriously, it's okay.
Cause I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do. I think sometimes you just need to figure it out. Let's get it. So I didn't tell you the questions. She's being very demure.
I am.
But on the Blonde Two podcast, we are authentic and raw. So let's get real. So what was the exact moment in your life when you realized you were living for everyone else instead of yourself?
That's a good question. I feel like you go through phases of that, right? But I can really say during COVID, I had a friend group, new friends, old friends, trying to put everyone together as one big group. And I really started learning that everybody's not meant for everything. But in that moment, I was in the middle of a lot of things that didn't have anything to do with me. And I started realizing I was putting other people first. I was people pleasing. And then that's when I realized I started losing friends too. I realized, okay, it's time to make a change.
Yeah. I think COVID was that period for all of us. I told Farron, I was like, we had like a party season, and then God was like, sit down.
Sit down. Yes.
And y'all all gonna go through some changes, because it was kind of like we all started like shedding those layers.
Yes.
And it was painful.
Very.
And I don't know. I'm grateful for COVID because like I did gain new friends, and I think that through those hard seasons, I wouldn't have been able to get through them without y'all. Like, are you okay? Talking to me. But I think a lot of people discovered themselves.
Yeah, and I think we all was going through certain things. I know I was personal, like inner self, the divorce of my parents. It was a lot. Like I said, falling out with certain people. So I felt like I had some dark times during COVID, or even like with a divorce. I didn't think that it was going to affect me the way that it did, because I was so much older, and I'm like, I truly understand why. So why does it hurt? So it was a lot of processing that I had to do during that time. So I do feel like I did shed layers. I did understand more. But I started trying to lean on my resources as well. And that's when I really started picking up counseling for myself, like actually having a counselor for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to my counselor because I felt bad of when I, went through my divorce because I thought because the boys were older that they would understand more. But like, it's like crazy how both of them are processing it. And one thing she told me, she was like, the longer you wait, the harder the impact can be for them.
Yeah.
Whether, you just really can't gauge it. You just have to do it and go through it. But I think I just came up with an episode where I was like, you really don't know how you're going to respond until you actually go through it.
When you in it, when you actually experience it, yes, for sure.
So it's kind of made me think like, because I think in relationships, we'd be like, oh, I wouldn't put up with that. But then if we haven't really gone through it.
How would you know? So I always tell myself, especially with women, I feel like we all have our different threshold of what we deal with. So my level might be different than yours. So I always say she knows her breaking point because it's different for everybody. Even for me, it's different.
So talking about women, look at you flowing into my conversation just so I don't send them. So why do you think so many, I'm going to say black women, but women in general, feel pressured to be strong before they're ever allowed to be soft? Because I dealt with that.
I'm still dealing with that. Oh, good question. I just really feel like it starts with the family background. Most black women are the backbones of the black family. So we take on a lot. It's generational. When you think about it in that aspect as well. So I have seen my mother be strong, and she got that from her mother. My grandmother went through domestic violence. I felt like that was a lot for her to show her girls that I can be independent even when my husband is not doing what he's supposed to do. So again, it's from the family dynamics. You're talking about the black man not being in the home. We're talking about domestic violence, drugs, alcohol, when a lot of different things come into play. And then since we are the mothers, we take on the kids. We take on so much. So I feel like that's why before we can be soft, we learn to harden. And then most times, I could say for me personally, with things that I have experienced, it made me harder on the outside because I wasn't able to be soft in these moments. The environment that I was raised in, sometimes it didn't allow me to be soft.
Yeah.
So I kept that hitting a lot. So I'm like very rough on the edges. But I want to live a soft life. I want to show that side of me. So I do show it when I do date, but I feel like you have to be earning of me. You have to be deserving to have that soft side of me.
I was just, I'm dating. And
Yes.
so my man had asked my mom, like, why, like, I be trying to, like, because he's very, like, let me help take care of you. Like, he came in and was, like, that father figure to the boys. And, I'm independent, been independent. And she was like, you have to know how her dad and I raised her to know why. And it's deeper than that, She was like, with my other two, I coddled them more than her, but it was because I knew she could handle it. And one thing my mom said she did regret was maybe I put too much on her. And so, like, we were having a conversation because he wanted to pay for something and I didn't want to ask him. Because, like, for me, it's like, I don't want to ask you. Like, I'm independent. And it was a problem. He was like, I'm taking care. So the thing he said was, I bet you if you ask your friends, they would be like, yeah. I said, I can't ask them nothing. I said, because we all independent. We all. They gonna be like, no, you good. You do your own thing. But I know for me, I had to like, it was more of a like uncomfortable feeling because it's like, I'm letting my guard down. And what if, now I gotta build that wall back up if the if happens, and I think that's where a lot of women fall too, because the what ifs. Like, if I let my guard down for you, like, what if?
But I think the what if ties into insecurities of oneself. So it's tricky having significant others because you want to be vulnerable. You want to be your authentic self. Being independent can be hard, especially when you are a woman and you got it all on your own. Like, for example, growing up, I was always taught that I don't need a man for nothing. So I don't need a man for nothing. And everything I have, I got on my own. So it's really like, if that man does come here, what is he bringing to the table? And not on some, oh, I'm a gold digger or anything like that, but not even just financially, but emotionally, spiritually. And then, men want women to be submissive, but I only can be submissive if you are an actual leader.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, you're following the head of God. And a lot of men don't understand that either. So I feel it's just more about those two people that's together and them having an understanding of each other. And then, sometimes you got to wear your heart on the sleeve.
Yeah.
Take chances. See where it goes.
Child, I be like, I ain't got time for no chances. Either you get it together or you don't. So, what did freedom personally cost you?
What did freedom cost me? I lost some friendships. Definitely hurt. But season, not lifetimes. We know that. But what it really cost me, I think more so of me understanding myself more. So what it really cost me is self-discipline, self-control, doing the things that, how can I say this? We want a lot of things, but we don't need it. So being able to walk away from things that we want, but we're strong enough to say, you don't need that. You got to walk away from it. Knowing that if something is self-destructive for you and being able to walk away from that, sometimes that's the hardest thing to do. So freedom calls me to elevate myself. So again, I'm shedding things that I don't need, but it's hard sometimes because we all fall short. So you can kind of take steps back. But sometimes when you take those steps back, it helps you to take steps even further. But what freedom cost me, I think it just caused me to be real with myself.
You said something, sometimes saying that we don't need something even when we want something. I think sometimes saying we don't need it, but really not understanding why we saying I don't need it. Like in the moment, like if it's that man, like you want that, but you don't really need it. And you're like, well, why do I not need it? Like, is it not showing or what? Like not understanding. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm an overthinker, so I'm big on understanding. I'm always asking why. And I forgot, I was at church one day and it was a sermon. It was about the why. And it was saying sometimes you don't need to know the why. Because when you're so stuck on the why, you don't grow. You stay stagnant. So if you focus on healing and growing and moving from that situation, you get the why, but it's not when you need it.
Yeah.
It's like a revelation. You like, oh, I finally understand now. It might be years later, might be months later, might be days later. But sometimes we get stuck in the why, and that makes us stuck. And you can't grow from that.
That was my sermon.
Was that your sermon? I don't know.
That was my very first sermon.
You think so? I think it was. Okay, look at that. Look at that full circle moment. Okay.
See, I was like, hold on, that sounds like my sermon. Because you've been a couple of my sermons, yeah. See. So, how do you separate who Janae Brown truly is from the titles, degrees, accomplishments, and expectations that's attached to your name?
Oh, I think I'm so many things, like outside of like my education, me loving music, me writing poetry, everything. But how I separate it is when I'm alone. Like, I wear many hats. But really I'm a lover girl. I'm very soft. just letting my head down, being myself and not having to hide who I am or be judged for things I say. Like, that's how I separate myself. And I think I try to stay authentic in everything that I do. So I can be around many different groups of people. And although I might carry myself just a tad bit different, because you got to have proof about yourself. But I'm always going to be authentic to me. And I feel like long as I'm real to me, then I can never come off as fake or being facetious or anything of that nature. So I feel like that's why I can blend in so many different crowds, because I'm still Janae. Like, even at work, the other week, one of my coworkers was like, I never know what's going on with you. He was like, you always got a smile on your face, and I really love that about you. But that's how it should be. But I stay professional at work, but I still got that persona about me, like, you're not going to play with me, regardless of who you are. So I feel like me being who I am, showing the real me, is being authentic.
So, a little truth. When I started transforming, you know, you saw me at my heaviest weight. Destinnee, what are you wearing? To now, here I am.
Yes. But it's my glam girl. Like, we are like, wait, no, I seen you. No, I think that's what's so beautiful about it. I really seen you become.
You did.
I did. I seen you become the woman that you are today. Everything that you've been blessed with, you deserve. I seen you from the weight loss, from shedding relationships, your education, being a deaconess, you know, really tapping into your word. Like, I really seen you transform. And I think the most beautiful thing about it is when you are around people like that, it makes you grow. It makes you want to do better. So it has been a beautiful journey to watch.
Yeah. So when I started getting into the public's eye, my PR team consisted of Empress, Jamal, and her. And anytime I want to put something on, and Empress be like, do you think you should wear that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to wear this. She was like, I'm going to call Janae. And I'll be like, never mind. Because that's the code. Because I'd be like, because you are like the person, like, we gonna be real sophisticated. We're going to do this. We're going to be very demure, very mindful.
Yes.
Everybody get it together. When I say move, you move. And I'm like, okay. So every time I think of something like, this is my corporate baddie, I have to think like, okay, hold your head up and put a smile on your face.
Smile on your face.
And what would Janae say? Now, when you get behind closed doors, then you could be like, so let me tell you what happened. But when you're in front of people, you're going to keep it very demure and very mindful. I have to ask you, so do you feel like you struggle with it when you're going through something? Because, like, for me, I have to balance between, like, not wearing my feelings on my face and my shoulders, because, you know, I will. Like, my face will say it all. And, like, staying authentic to saying, like, I'm having a bad day. Like, I struggle with that. Like,
I'm very vocal. So the way that I get through things is talking about it. And whether that's writing, venting to my friends, venting to God, venting to my mama, because I vent to my mama. I'm very vocal. So I never lie about having a bad day. Now, what I will do is I do have to pull myself together. But when I have those days where I can't, then I'm going to have those days. And those days consist of me just being in my room in the bed. And sometimes you need that. We got to feel our feels.
yeah.
So we can't just, we have to actually go through them. So
I've had recently, like, you know, I'm in the public's eye. So, like, I'm in meetings and stuff. And, like, I have to really, like, be able, and my engineer, he's showing me, like, when you're on camera, you can tell when you're not feeling it. And he's had to show me. And so I've had to be like, well, how do I balance, like, pulling it together and not showing it on my face? Like, that's where I'm kind of like,
because we do show it on our face, for sure. I think I can show things on my face too. Some things I just can't hide. But I think it's kind of doing check-ins with yourself. You know that you about to go into an episode. Sometimes you may need those 20 minutes. to really pull yourself together. If you got to cry, let it out. If you got to pray about it. I just feel like you got to take your time with it. And then to be honest, sometimes you just got to say it out loud. Like you episode one day, like, hey, we doing this podcast today. I'm going through some things personally. And then you don't ever know, like, it might shift that whole episode to something way more meaningful. So it's just being authentically you and being honest about what you're going through, So I feel like it's how you see yourself. So like in a perfect world, if you was going through something and you had to self-regulate, what do you usually do?
Oh, I listen to music. I go to take a nap and I eat.
And you eat.
I'm a eat, child. I'm a eat. If it's some ice cream or some cake, I'm gonna eat.
Okay.
Or
so
some wings.
You just said 3 things, right? So those would be some of the 3 things that you would try to do to help you self-regulate. And I mean, we can find more healthier ways, but, but those are some of the things that you could do.
So what part of yourself did you have to grieve in order to become unapologetically you?
I had to grieve the areas that I was ashamed of. Some of the heartbreaks that I went through, certain things that I never thought that I would experience or go through. And I thought couldn't be me, So, to be unapologetically me, I had to be real with my feelings. So that was really identifying things that I felt. And one of the biggest things was shame and guilt. Noticing that, wow, I went through this and my self-esteem is getting low. And it took me, as being a full figure Black woman, especially as a young girl, how I used to get picked on and stuff like that. It took me a while to really build my self-esteem. So when I went through certain things and I see that it was knocking me down, and to be honest, I didn't even notice it at first. My mom noticed it one day, and I was telling her about some things I was going through, and she just broke down, and I was utterly confused because I was like, well, I'm the one going through it. Like, what's going on? What's going on? And then she was just like, I don't like what this is doing to my baby. And she was just like, your self-esteem, like, this person is putting all these things on you when that's him. That's not you. That's his issues. But he putting them on you like you're the problem. She was like, I can't have my baby doing that. She was like, your self-esteem. And because my mother is so real with me, that helped me to look in the mirror to say, hold on, I really need to do some self-check-ins. So when I got real with me and really started identifying and trying to understand why I feel the way I feel, why I'm going through certain things, even family dynamics of, okay, why do I have issues with men? Where did it start? Then I had to understand what some of the root of my problems was. And once I realized what some of the roots was, I had to be real with myself. And the hardest thing is, once you identify that, you got to sit with that.
Girl,
and
talk
I think
about
that'd be
it.
the hardest thing, because but how do you move forward with what you're sitting through? So basically, being loved properly. So that would be, the lie would be that I'm not worthy. I am worthy.
That's right. And you was talking about the lie that you had to stop telling yourself. I learned through my internship that I was like, when you say you're not worthy of, getting these accomplishments and graduating and stuff like that. So people kept asking me, like, how do you feel? How do you feel? And I was like, it was like a weird space of like, I'm becoming and an old part of me is dying. And so something that my professor and the internship site director was pouring into me, which I don't got nothing against somebody else, but a black woman pouring into you is something different. And basically what they were saying was, I don't know who told you this lie, but basically what they were saying was, they see me here, but I'm operating here.
Right.
And they was like, every time you hit that mark, you bounce yourself down because of a lie that was told to you. And I was like sitting there, because they do like the little reviews, and I was like holding back tears because I already knew that. And then when he was like, well, how do you feel about that? And I was like, immediately as I started saying, I was like, I know, because I think of it like this. I never want to be not humble.
Right. And I will humble myself real
Right.
quick, right? Yes.
And so it's like this weird space of like, I know what I can accomplish. I know who I am. But it's like, I never want to get big headed. But he was like, what you're doing is you're bouncing yourself back down when you can soar. And
Yes.
I'm like, and he's like, I don't say that. He's like, I can see students and they operate on this level. And I'd be like, okay, you good. But he's like, Destinnee, I see you being more in this field. I need you to operate in that more. So I get it. I get it. So, a couple more questions.
Okay.
Have there been moments where success looked good on paper, but internally you still felt trapped?
My first master's.
Y'all hear that? First master's. I'm still on associates. She said that's her first master's.
I just felt like, what did I get this for? Did I waste my time? You know, what am I really doing with it? And I mean, technically, I am in human service, but I kind of felt like if I would have went straight for that clinical mental health counseling, like where would I be right now? But everything is a part of God's timing, so.
And it makes you look good.
It
like,
does.
The credentials is here.
They're there.
So this is a question, and I think this is where I actually want to lead off. This is a question that we always ask our guests.
Okay.
What would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self, you are loved, you are beautiful, open, be more open, be more willing to participate. I think when I was younger, especially like my undergrad or high school, because, you know, I moved to Michigan. I really didn't know anyone. I made friends, but I feel like a lot of them were genuine. But the ones I got to this day, those my peeps.
Yes.
But I was just so closed off, and I feel like being closed off made me closed-minded because I was so used to Virginia. So what I would tell my younger self is to be more open and just be me. Again, I just felt like being dark and having weight, it did a lot to my self-esteem. So I wasn't always the first choice, you get what I'm saying? Or if I was a choice, you couldn't be proud about it, you get what I'm saying? So I would tell myself, be proud about who you are, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it would just to be, love yourself more. That's what I would have told my younger self.
Now, tell the people about your book, child. Tell them about your book.
Oh, my book. Hold on, see, we got the
softback and the hardback.
And it's on Kindle.
And Amazon, y'all. And there ain't no excuse of why you can't order it.
So, Set Me Free, Unapologetically Me. There's a little history about it. So, there are a few writers in my family, starting with my aunt and then my brother. And my brother Jamie, he always had a passion for writing. And being the youngest and the only girl, I always wanted to be like my boy brothers. I wanted to be a boy sometime. So I was definitely a tomboy. So I always looked up to them. But I always felt like my writing wasn't good enough. I didn't think I was as detailed. But when I was in middle school, I started writing poetry. So I like in my book now, there's a few poems from middle school in here. So after a while, when I was going through during COVID, the way that I was healing myself was writing. And once I looked up, I had so many poems. And with that friend group at the time, everybody was trying to do something for self, like entrepreneurship. So we would talk about what we were good at and things like that. And at first I was just talking about making playlists because I love music. My daddy is a DJ. So I know how to DJ a little bit. And then I was like, oh, I can make playlists. But then I'm like, I'm writing poems too. So let's incorporate both of them. So I finally decided like this is showing healing in real time. And I feel like people can relate to what I went through. And it wasn't just about a heartbreak of a man. I'm talking about heartbreak from family, from friends, from your own self, because you can break your own heart. Just some of everything. I just felt like it was, I talk about generational curses, the loss of my oldest brother in my book. So it was really setting me free, like laying my feelings bare and being able to say, hey, I wrote these things. Some of them came from some of the darkest parts of my soul. But I'm here to show the world this is who I am. And I think that's also what made me so proud of myself, because it's so hard when to show the good, the bad, and the ugly. Most people can't do that. But I was here in this book showing all of me. Even parts where I was accepting things that was not accepting of me. So my book is just really about healing. It's about the healing journey. It's never a straight arrow when you're trying to heal. It's really
it's ugly.
It's ugly. It's a winding road, and you might go onto a dirt road and gotta find yourself back on the pavement. So it's my baby. This is my baby, and I was in awe of myself that I really accomplished something like this. And even through this accomplishment, I was still going through things and like, wow, like this is my moment. And even during that time, I was still going through stuff, but I didn't let it stop me. So now I know that I'm good enough to write. I'm good enough to do details. So I'm working on a part 2 of my book. And I'm actually writing a novel. I'm thinking about releasing that in 2027.
Okay.
So I am truly an author. I am truly a poet. I can be Summer Walker at times of poetry. So I'm really working on reading in front of the world. I really want to work on that. So I know she asked me to talk about it, but I am so excited to be here because this is my very first podcast ever.
Listen.
And I got to do it with one of my best friends, one of my closest friends, one of my sister friends, my sister in Christ. Like, I really got to do this. So she's actually helping me on my journey too. And like she said, I seen her go through a lot. She seen me go through a lot as well.
Yes. And like I said, you can purchase this on Amazon and where else? Is it?
It's on Amazon right now. I'm working on trying to get it actually in Barnes and Nobles, but your best places to go is to Amazon, or you can come to me. I will ship it to you in the 757.
And she might cook you something, some chicken. She cooks some chicken, y'all, and some mac and cheese.
I can cook real good.
Listen, so
I told y'all I wear many hats.
She does. So make sure that y'all go and get y'all book. And I'm going to try to get her to come to Roanoke and do a book signing. But your girl got a lot going on, and I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, we've been talking about it, so I definitely want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go on a world tour. Do you hear me?
Go for it.
I will go to Roanoke. I will go to Detroit. Anywhere. Where the people love me, where the people want me, I'll be there.
And I'm going to try to get her there. And so, listen, thank you for taking the time and coming on this podcast and allowing, and your mama for allowing us to set up in her home. This beautiful
Shout
place.
out to my mom and my stepdad.
Yes, because we had to rearrange some things, but it's such a beautiful scenery. And y'all know I love a comfy setting, so we could get deep and talk about it. So you just listened to the Blonde Truth podcast, Set Me Free, Unapologetically Me, featuring Janae Brown, and powered by Destiny is by Choice Support Services. If today's conversation taught us anything, is this: freedom starts when you stop abandoning yourself to keep others comfortable. Healing isn't always loud, and sometimes it looks like boundaries. Correct. Sometimes it looks like honesty, and sometimes it looks like finally saying, this is who I am.
And honesty with yourself, first and foremost.
And I will not apologize for it anymore. That's her. To everyone listening who's still carrying shame, shrinking themselves, or living beneath the weight of who the world today told them to be, This is your reminder that you deserve to exist fully, boldly, and authentically. Remember, your destiny is by choice, not by chance. And until next time, keep walking in your truth, and especially the truth that sets you free. Bye.